Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy review of the Richmond vs Western Bulldogs game. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and yeah, let's get into the video. So as you can see here, I'll go through Richmond and Western Bulldogs. So Taranto, wow, that was having the captain on him for this game. That was rough. Trying to him being on 5 at quarter time. I was talking to a mate and he had him as captain as well. We both went with captains on Taranto, and that was pretty scary seeing him on 5, but he had a resurgence of 109 through the last 3 quarters, really saved it. And yeah, so if you want to go with the sort of, I guess, he's very consistent. I mean, Taranto, let's look at his scoring here. He's averaging 114 and his lowest is a 108, but he's a very choppy scorer in that he can have quarters like this where he goes and scores 5, but then he has huge quarters like he had this huge last quarter of 45 points. And if you look at it, well, that's 12, 15, 14. So he had 31 points in the space of, 15 minutes or whatever. So yeah, he just went nuts. And I was honestly at one point hoping, I think it was like he was on 89 or something at one point. He was on 114 here, so 112. I think it was right before this goal. Yeah, it was right before this goal. And I was like, if he can just get 3 or more 4 touches and then a goal or something like that, that gets him to the 105, 110 region, roughly. Gets him to, 105 or so. And then it must have been, I must have called that for that to happen at about the 17-minute mark of the quarter, because they went down the other end and he kicked the goal straight away. And it was just like, okay, now he's basically at the ton now. It got him up to, I believe, 99. And then he ended up going 114, which is huge. Rioli, another really good option that I could go for as well. I wish I just had the extra, I guess I should say the extra, 50, 100k, because that could get me, 2 700ks that are really looking good. But there's no one really at that 700k range that I'm happy with, unless there's another Hawthorn defender that I guess comes in and scores well, like a Scrimshaw or Hardwick, because other than that, I don't think there's anyone. Nankervis, again, huge game for him. He's looking really consistent. What's he averaging? 130. He's averaging, I believe, 111 or so. So that's really good. Cumberland, I don't know how he made it to 102. And he'll keep his spot, obviously, against the Swans, because they have injuries, that of Tom Lynch, and I believe Graham as well did a hamstring, so he should be done for the Swans game. And for Cumberland to have -2 and end up on a 102 is pretty ridiculous. But, I doubt he'll do that against the Swans. Vlosten, Clark as well. He scored really well for a rookie-priced guy. So for him to score that well, it means that he's going to have a really good break-even next game, I believe. It'll probably be almost negative. Ralph Smith, Hopper, Martin, Pickett. Baker was sort of a false guy, I think, and good thing that we didn't pick him up, because Short's coming back and he only scored a 79 anyway. So, I mean, he did increase in price, but it wasn't that much. Mansell, another really good score from him. So maybe he's a rookie that I could look into getting, and that would help me get to the big guys. And then you got Bolton, didn't score well. Prestia, McIntosh, Bolter, Sonsi, there's no one here. And then you have the injury to Tom Lynch. Broken foot, he'll be out for a while. And then Young and Brian will keep his spot now, I'm 100% sure, just because they're struggling with tools. And yeah, he scored 0 in the first and third, but ended up with a 32. So if that's his baseline 32, he'll slowly increase in price. He's going to go up probably 8 or 9k. And that'll slowly get me up to a price that I can trade him out and get some more cash. English 145 was absolutely huge, and it is hurting me that he's scoring that well. Bailey Dale, another huge game. So yeah, huge from him. Then Libber and Bont finally cracked the ton. It only took him 4 attempts, but I think it was, 108 here. When he got this tackle with about 4 minutes to go, I was just finally, he's only gone and done it, because this third quarter really, I thought he was on for a third quarter like slowdown, but he picked it back up in the fourth and scored huge to really show that he's there and has the ability to go huge. Ed Richards is another guy that I could look at getting. I could be able to get Ed Richards and Bailey Dale. That would be interesting, but that would put me at 3 guys from Western Bulldogs. That could be actually an option now. Looking at it, if Bailey Dale will go up by about, what would you say, 10 or so K, so 717, and Ed Richards would go up by, oh no, he's going to go up by too much to be in that price range, but that's just another option or close enough that I could go for. McRae, yeah, he's looked really underwhelming, and he's just not averaging as much as compared to other people. So at that price range, so I think he's a trade out if you have no other issues. But with the way that it is this fantasy season, you probably had already in ruck issue, you probably already had some midfield issues, and you probably have the issue of Warple or someone else in some of the line that you need to get out of. And then Oscar Baker, again, I guess he's more super coach relevant, but he is still outscoring his every time his break even and slowly rising. So whoever had him did really well. And yeah, there's no one else really here to, I guess, talk about. And then we also have to mention that if there is an injury to the likes of anyone, that Toby McLean's probably going to come back in. I think he had something like 43 touches, and he ended up getting somewhere close to 170 fantasy points in the VFL, so that is knocking on the door. And maybe he gets his spot, but he probably, knowing Beveridge, get the vest or whatever, and it would just be pointless to bring him in if he has the vest. So if you wanted to look at anyone to get in, my recommendations would obviously, if you don't have him, get English in. But I mean, I'm hoping that Grundy can bridge the gap between him and English enough that I can do one up, one down and get him up, I guess. And then Bailey Dale is a good option as well. Libba, Bont. Well, I mean, Bailey Dale probably isn't a good option actually now looking at it, just because of his average in the previous games. So probably stay clear of him. Probably more go for Ed Richards as well. And that's pretty much it for this review. So if I go back here, that's the review of the Richmond vs Western Bulldogs game. And I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.